We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, talking about the deferred action for childhood arrivals. It's been rescinded by the president. The question now, what happens to many of these so-called dreamers that are here in this country right now? With us this morning is Renata Soto, and along with her, Elliot Osment. Both of them disappointed in the president's decision, but the question now is where we go from here. Just should this take effect, and I know we have a 6-month period where we're going to wait and see what Congress does, and if the president signs it, who knows what's going to happen. But let's say it stays in effect, meaning it's rescinded, nothing replaces it. How will it actually be initiated to go after these dreamers? Will it be ICE agents going out, arresting them?
Well, ICE has said that they're not going to initiate any action against the dreamers that are on a list. But I don't believe that. I believe that they could. And here's what DACA enrollees should do right now. First, if you're not DACA, then you cannot apply. It's too late for you to apply. Second, if you are DACA, then you need to look at the expiration date on your employment card. And if it is on or before March the 5th, 2018, that's the magic date, then you are entitled to file a renewal application right now.
And it's for a year?
No, it'll be for 2 years.
2-year renewals, okay.
However, there's a deadline on renewals, so that they will accept renewal applications that are filed through October the 5th.
We have a month.
You have 1 month, so that's okay.
And if the renewal application reaches immigration on October the 6th, it will be rejected. It has to reach immigration on or before October 5th.
Okay, let's take a few phone calls here and we can get more into that, but we'll go next to Amy. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, Amy.
I was just calling in. I just wanted to share with you my thoughts on the DACA program and the law that's trying to be put into place at this time. I think it is just, you know, so disheartening to hear Americans call in and have, to me, what it seems like anger toward people wanting better for their children. I'm a parent, and you know, when I think of this whole program, I want to put myself in the situation and say, if it was me, what would I do for my child? And so I think a lot of these people are just, you know, they want better for themselves and they want better for their children, and this is the land, they say it's the land of the free, you know, so people want to come here and they want to be free. And I know everything we do, we should do it decent and in order, but we are under an administration right now that really does nothing decent and in order, that tries to be so hard and come down so heavy on other things, such as DACA and such as innocent children, just wanting to have the opportunity to go out on the playground and play and go to school and these types of things. And I think it's really a waste of time with a lot of the things that's going on right now, you know, because we have other bigger issues to be dealing with. And I just think as a country, we're going backwards.
All right, thank you for your call.
Amy, thank you for your call. I think it's very important to, we tend to demonize the parents of these beloved DACA dreamers that we are here to defend. And I agree with you. As a mother, I also think I'm here in this table, and if I see right there that there might be opportunities where I can just do the basics of feeding my kids and giving them hope for a brighter future, I know that I also would take the risk, and sometimes even if I'm not allowed to go to the table. And I think it's very important to remember that these parents brought these children here precisely because they wanted a life with dignity that they knew they couldn't provide in the countries where we come from. And that is actually a high risk that parents take. And ultimately, many risk their lives. And I think it's important to remember also those parents who have made great sacrifices to afford a better life for their children here. I want to say also, as a mom whose kids are in school, 45% of DACA recipients are in school. 45%, and we have almost 800,000 in the nation. And of those 45% that are in school, more than 71% are pursuing a bachelor's or higher degrees, the doctor at Vanderbilt University. And I think that that's also the tragic news, right? That we are saying as a nation that we don't want these kids who are going to be so important for the economic future of our own communities. I want that doctor. I mean, I know some of these kids even appreciate those opportunities more because, man, their parents have paid a high cost to get where they are today.
All right, let's go to Kenneth. Hi, Kenneth. Hi, Ken.
Hello?
Hey, go ahead, Kenneth.
My question is to Trump. I believe Trump made a statement about a month ago that the only people he would want in America would be the ones that had skills or could provide for our country in an economical way. Now, if these students aren't the ones, who are? Are we talking about bringing people over to replace people's jobs, like the ones that he has working in Trump Towers? I mean, I'd like to know what are the true basis for this reality.
Okay.
Because relieving these people or taking them out of the country is not a means of economic growth. I just don't understand it. That's it.
All right. He was kind of echoing what you just said about many of these folks. You know, they're contributing members to society, or they're going to be. They're pursuing educations. They haven't been troublemakers. These aren't criminals. You know, so.
Yeah, and to that point of criminals, I have to say that one of the disappointments is that here we are telling these young people who came forward, who went through a stringent background check, and we're telling them, you don't belong here. Yet a couple of weeks ago, the president pardoned a sheriff who was charged as a criminal for abusing his power in Arizona.
Yeah,
and that's the hypocrisy also of yesterday's announcements when Attorney General Sessions was talking about the rule of law and being a nation of laws.
Nick, could I close the loop on some comments that have been made before on this morning's program about the parents that brought their kids up here illegally? I wish the people that called in could hear some of the stories that I hear when they come into my office and ask me my advice on legal matters relative to their immigration. The story that I hear more than any other one story is, yes, I brought my kids in illegally. I didn't know what else to do, but the reason I did it is because I was living in a country where gangs were out of control. They were trying to recruit my kids to join a gang and to kill other kids and extort good people out of their money. I did not want my kid exposed to that. And so, yes, I brought my kid to America to escape because the legal authorities in those countries would not take any action. Many of the legal authorities in those countries are controlled by the very gangs that are terrorizing the residents of those countries. It's not like America. And so before we cast a stone to these people, let's try to understand the whole situation and the total environment that brought these people up here in the first place. They didn't come because they hated their country. They came because they were being persecuted and maligned and threatened by out-of-control gangs.
Have any of them then sought refugee status?
Well, the refugee law and the asylum law in America is so tight that it's many times impossible to give asylum to those people. We get a lot of people that come in our office to see if they qualify for asylum. Sometimes they do, but more often than not, they don't.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go next to, is it Ruthie? Are you there, Ruthie?
This is Lucy.
Lucy. I'm sorry, Lucy. I got it wrong. Go ahead.
Hey, y'all. Mr. Osment, I want to direct my comment towards your remark where you quoted Ezekiel out of the Bible. I, too, am a firm believer of separation of church and state, and so were my redneck ancestors that came here who were being tortured over their religion, especially after the state took control of religion where they came from in England. And Tennessee was built on that premise of separation of church and state. And I want to thank you today for stepping aside and quoting Ezekiel, because that is exactly true, because there is a lot of wisdom in the Bible if we would look at it the right way instead of using it for politics. And on that comment, I say to y'all, have a good day.
Thank you much. Thank you for that. Let's go to Karen. Karen, good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning. Well, what Mr. Osment just did was use the Bible for politics to make a political point. And I'm sure that there are many other Bible verses that totally disagree with his liberal stance on issues. Also, one word I don't think I've heard is the word U.S. Constitution. Obama said that he did not have the authority to do what he did, and then a year later he did it. We have a country based on a constitution, not on narratives, and we have to get this right. Regardless of what happens, we do have a constitution. I cannot imagine myself going to another country and telling them how I should be treated. I would like to live in Bermuda, but they will not allow people to just come there. There are rules. And I am really tired of people coming to our country, benefiting from our taxes, and then crying and griping about how we treat them. I think we treat people very well in this country, and I just have never been told thank you by anyone. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for your call. Any thoughts?
Karen, I just want to say that, you know, the children that we're talking about and their parents are proud to be part of this community. They're eager to pay taxes. I can tell you, if you want to come to Conexión Americas during tax season, we can keep up with parents trying to do right by all the means in which they can, except by having a work permit. That's the only way in which they are not recognized to be part of our community. And most of them are undocumented workers. So we are paying taxes. And actually the taxes that undocumented workers are paying are gonna benefit your retirement plan, because these workers are never gonna benefit from it. So we have to remember that actually also we pay sales taxes, especially in a state where we don't have income tax. But I also wanna say, you know, people are also very thankful to this country. These children take the Pledge of Allegiance at school. And when you hear the stories every day and why they are so scared about their future, is because they truly love this country. This is the country they call home. This is where they want to become doctors and teachers and social workers and lawyers. They understand that the sacrifice that their parents make to come here have given them a future that they could have not imagined anywhere else, and they want to give back. They are not only kids that are thinking, how am I gonna provide to my family by becoming a professional and have a better paying job, but they are really have a sense of duty for the opportunity that this country has given them. So I am sorry that you have never been able to be in the face of one of these parents or immigrants, but I can tell you that they're really thankful for the opportunity to say, you know, if I work hard and I pay taxes and I send my kids to school, I think that my kids have a chance to do better.
I'm curious. I'm assuming the vast majority of Dreamers are from Mexico, but I mean, are there Dreamers from a lot of different countries?
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm just curious, how many countries are represented by Dreamers?
I haven't seen a statistic on that, but that leads me to another point, and that is, I want Americans to get ready for the next calamity that's about to come. The Dreamers is simply calamity number one. There are a lot of people in this country that are here on temporary protected status. It's called TPS. Those are people, and I have a list of them, here from El Salvador, Haiti. El Salvador was in response to El Salvador earthquakes. Haiti initiated because of an earthquake. Honduras, Hurricane Mitch. Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria in response to the Syrian civil war, Nepal, and Yemen. which is in a civil war. Those are all people that are here on temporary protected status.
Wasn't the idea that they're supposed to be here and hopefully things improve in their homeland and they go home?
That was the idea, but unfortunately these countries many times don't have a functioning government, and it's not safe for them to return.
But that will be expiring for them too, just like the Dreamers.
They each have an expiration date, and I predict that these will not be renewed either. So we have a serious problem on our hands. Now for Karen, I'm not sure whether she wants these people to stay and she just disagrees with what Obama did and how he did it, or whether she wants to get rid of them. I don't know. But if she wants these people to stay legally, here's her chance. She should call her 2 U.S. senators, Senator Alexander and Senator Corker, both of whom are good men. I predict they'll both support a Dreamer Act in Congress. But what's more doubtful to me is what 3 of the Republican congressmen in the House of Representatives from Tennessee are going to do. There are 3 people in the House of Representatives that are Republican: Phil Rowe, Jimmy Duncan, Marsha Blackburn, and all 3 of those voted against the DREAM Act of 2010. All 3 of them voted against it. And that's when Obama was frustrated and said, what the heck, I'm going to sign an executive order because it's the right thing to do. Now the question is, even if the 2 senators support
they got to have the House as well.
They got to have the House to go along with it. So we need to start asking these House members, what are you going to do? How are you going to vote? And put the onus on them to tell us what their position is. Scott DesJarlais, who was not in the House in 2010, has already said what he's going to do. But what about these others? So we need to get busy and ask them.
We'll take a break and come back with more in our final segment. More of your calls right after this. Stay with us.